It might feel like musicians can get away with anything, but when you threaten a corporate sponsor on air, there's bound to be some consequences. British guitarist Eric Clapton is the only person to have been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 3 times. He's also the only musician to have sparked an anti-racism movement in direct response to a speech he made. In 1976, British race relations were at an all-time low, led by white supremacist Parliament member Enoch Powell. That's when a drunk Eric Clapton walked on stage in Birmingham and yelled, "Enoch was right. I think we should send them all back." And the rest of Clapton's speech was no better. He said Britain was becoming a, quote, black colony, and his audience should vote to keep Britain white. While Clapton's outburst didn't get him completely cancelled, it permanently stained his career in his home country where, 40 years later, his name is still synonymous with racism. There was a time when Kanye West was hailed as a groundbreaking artist, thanks to a string of hits and collaborations with everyone from Jay-Z and Rihanna to Daft Punk and Jamie Foxx. In recent years, however, West has become better known for his outlandish antics and controversial statements than his music. And for many, the last straw came on October 9, 2022, when West unleashed a torrent of anti-Semitic messages on X. It started in the podcast Drink Champs, where West boasted,
"I could say anti-Semitic things and Adidas can't drop me."
He was wrong. Adidas dropped West, slashing around $900 million of his estimated net worth. Combine this with a number of other lost business partnerships, significant public outrage, and various labels and agencies disowning him, and it's clear that West's reputation has taken a hit from which he may never recover. In 2013, singer Robin Thicke scored a massive hit with his single Blurred Lines, which went on to cause enough controversy to last a lifetime.
It literally blurred the lines between a woman's right to say no and a man forcing himself.
British student unions started banning the song, and several media outlets called attention to its uncomfortable lyrics, which many felt landed on the wrong side of sexual consent. It didn't help that the song became associated with Thicke's MTV Video Music Awards performance alongside Miley Cyrus, after which Cyrus told the New York Times that Thicke explicitly requested that she wear as little as possible. Thicke has managed to pivot into a gig as a talent show panelist, but his musical success hasn't come close to what it was before the Blurred Lines outcry. In 2019, the song's co-writer Pharrell Williams told GQ that he came to dislike the song's lyrical content once he understood its full context. What's more, actor Emily Ratajkowski, who starred in the Blurred Lines video, alleged in her book My Body that Thicke groped her during filming. In 2003, 4 fans sued the band Creed because they felt a December 2002 Chicago area concert was bad. A judge dismissed the lawsuit in 2003, but Creed never recovered, and the band broke up in 2004 after a long dormant period. In a 2004 interview with MTV News, singer Scott Stapp said he considered the lawsuit to be a major factor in their implosion, stating, "Everybody didn't sue. It wasn't a class action suit. I think what got Mark Tremonti upset was that it was his hometown, and 2 people in the newspapers were bashing his band." The reason the fans filed the lawsuit was Stapp's allegedly visible intoxication during the show. Stapp has a history of addiction and mental health issues, which continued after Creed broke up and contributed to a breakdown in 2014. In a 2019 interview with Nightline, Stapp appeared to be in a better place, admitting, "When you start mixing alcohol and substances to self-medicate, that's a toxic combination. That can create a human being that is so far removed from who you are because of the chemicals inside of you that you can say and do some pretty nasty things." Singer and jazz pianist Hazel Scott is one of the biggest celebrities of the 1940s. Apart from her music career, she appeared in TV shows and movies. She even hosted the short-lived The Hazel Scott Show. Most impressively, she was a black artist who actively fought racism, refusing to play segregated venues or appear in projects that depicted black people as stereotypes. But Scott's willingness to challenge the powers that be was her career's undoing. She was falsely accused of communist sympathies, and although she voluntarily appeared before the House Un-American Activities Committee to defend herself, she was blacklisted. Scott and her family moved to Paris, but while she continued both her artistry and her activism, her career never recovered. In the early 1980s, Billy Squier's songs were a fairly common sight on the charts. But in 1984, his fate was sealed by the release of the video for his single Rock Me Tonight. Not only do many professionals consider it abysmal, but Squier agreed. In the book I Want My MTV, Squier says, "It was diabolical. I looked at it and went, what the f*** is this?" 1984 was the year of Bruce Springsteen's Born in the USA and U2's The Unforgettable Fire, when plainclothes rockers ruled and the great hair metal albums had only started emerging. In other words, it was a bad time for a campy music video featuring satin sheets and the artist's bare chest. Not to mention the awkward, crawling, hand-flapping choreo performed by Squier himself. Just like that, Squier's rise to rock's upper echelons was effectively over. It's easy to pinpoint the exact date Grammy-nominated singer-songwriter Ryan Adams' career ground to a halt. On February 13, 2019, the New York Times published a story detailing multiple allegations against Adams, including a pattern of manipulative behavior, using his fame to attract aspiring female musicians, and descriptions of psychological and emotional abuse. According to the article, one of Adams' alleged victims was underage. On July 3, 2020, Adams published an apology in the Daily Mail, reading, "To a lot of people this will just seem like the same empty bullshit apology that I've always used when I was called out. There is no way to convince people that this time is truly different, but this is the albatross that I deserve to carry with me as a result of my actions."
I find it curious that someone would make a public apology but not do it privately.
Adams has continued to make music after the sexual misconduct allegations, but his Billboard 200 days seem to be behind him. If you or anyone you know has been a victim of sexual assault, help is available. Visit the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network website or contact RAIN's National Helpline at 1-800-656-HOPE. That's 1-800-656-4673.